Namaste, namaste. Welcome. I want to make a video, I don't know, shorter or longer, but I want to make a video about the children. Because we all have to become children, for there is the heavenly kingdom on earth, no? And I don't have children. I'm a child. I can speak about children. I'm born highly active, autistic, and I can recognize highly active autistic children where they are. Because anyway, they are normal. They are conscious and they can move and do things themselves. We can do that. Just that no one can control us. Like when I was a little boy, when somebody tell me, don't do that, kicking and screaming or running into the cornfield and hiding. Nobody could control me, nobody could change me, but they could traumatize me. So this is actually a blessing, because other children get programmed, but because me and my stepbrother, we were growing up in controlling environment, in really strict Catholic controlling like this, but he got totally programmed that he obeys everything what doctor says, what system says, what everyone says. But me, she couldn't touch to change me. So we are here to actually tell you that we are free, and we tell you that we have a right to be free. To tell you that you have right to be free also. And I don't know, we cannot stand anything what is not free, anything what locks us into cages. If we are locked in the cage, we will break the cage down, and don't lock us in the cage. So with that kind of children, because many of the rainbow children, I'm a crystalline child too, many of the crystalline rainbow children, they actually have highly active autism also. We feeling is our first sight, our inner reality is our outer reality, our outer reality is our inner reality, so everything is different. Our feeling is our first sight, and thinking is our second sight. We feel what we think. We are like animals, and you cannot control us. You have to really know with these children, if they are, anyway, you have to raise all the children like this. If they are harming themselves and others, you stop them. Otherwise, let them do what they have to do, what they want to do, because if they play alone and solve problems, they are getting the character of saying no, of saying this is me, I don't want this, don't do this. They get their character and their, how to say, confidence they become who they are, because when they are playing alone, they are telling to each other no. When something doesn't feel right, they are telling to each other, this is me, this is not me. So like this, while children are playing alone, they get creativity, they learn how to solve problems, they get power. There, you know, how, I don't find the word. They learn to stand up for themselves and say no to what doesn't feel right to them. And this system, they actually don't want the children to be independent, independent feeling and thinking, to know how to solve problems, to know how to say no, to have their own nature, their own character, to be as they feel. They actually want them to obey, and out of fear and guilt, afraid of themselves and blaming themselves for existing, for breeding, for playing, for killing grandmothers and all kind of shit. They want them to go against themselves. They don't want them to be independent. They don't want them to have their free will. They don't want them to have to know how to solve problems, to be intelligent. And that's why children are not playing anymore outside, and children are actually always on computers, on the mobile phones. So why? So that they will be able to control them. They will not don't know how to solve problems. They will not be responsible, independent. They will not have their power, their own nature, their self. They will have guilt and fear going against their self. And on the mobile phones and video games all day long, inside, alone, traumatized, psychologically destroyed, so that actually when the time comes in some years that they will introduce the chip to connect you to the internet, they will be the first in line, because they are anyway, the phones are growing on their heads and are connected to the nervous system even now, even to ours in great extent. But this is their world. If I'm looking here in the villages, children are not playing in the village anymore with each other so much. There are examples, bright examples, near to my building next, where there is play field. I don't know, 4 or 5 children playing there, no more. I go to forest, no children in the forest. But when I was a little boy, we were always in a forest. We were making tree houses and that kind of stuff. We were doing all kind of shit on the playground, and we were running all over the village and being naughty. This is not happening anymore. Even the law that you cannot drive a bicycle in the forest, so that they have driven children out of the forest. Anyway, who follows that law is insane, because who in the world will catch you in a forest? We were running all over the village. We were doing all kind of stuff, and in the forest and everywhere with the bikes, and we had freedom, and that's why we are independent. We are individual. We know who we are. We are connected to Mother Nature. We solving problems and that kind of stuff. So they want to control the children. But I want to speak also on something else. You know, you cannot really conceptually discipline children up to 7-year age, including 7-year age. Why? Because first 7 years of age, children are kind of dream state, theta meditative state. They are like angels. They are only like, they are in their world. It's heaven on earth. They do not have beta mind. That's actually, beta mind is actually conceptual, analyzing, figuring out, guessing, conceptualizing. This fucked up mind, that's actually problem of everything. Okay, I analyze, but analyze what I feel. But people are analyzing what they're thinking and what they see, so they're analyzing their own mind, and the conclusions they get to are the darkness that is in their mind, which is the product of their traumas and programming against their self, and then they see their own suffering the matrix in the world and they create it. That's why we have to become children again, our mind pure. Anyway, so what to say more? So yes, they don't have this. They don't have this. It's a lot to say more actually. They don't have this. So if you are disciplining a child, trying to tell him, don't do this because of that, because before you were doing the same thing, why you are not letting him to do the same thing now to you when you are playing with this thing, with a car or whatever. Up to 7 years of age, they cannot actually understand what you're trying to tell them. They don't have the conceptual, analyzing, fucked up mind like grown-ups have. And the only thing what they get is that you are chastising them, you are angry at them because they are playing from the heart and being free as they feel. And in this way, parents actually program the children. In this way, parents actually program the children so that they blame themselves for what feels right to them. They are never good enough. They should not do that. They feel guilty for doing all their life what doesn't feel right to them. It is still the voice of the parents yelling at them to not to do that, because they didn't have up to 7 year conceptual analyzing mind. They didn't have up to 7 year conceptual analyzing mind. And they didn't understand. You try to explain them why they should not do that. They don't understand. They don't have that beta mind. They will have this when they are actually 7 year old. So same is when actually you can see the situation, and such situation traumatize them actually very much. And me, highly active, autism 10 times more. Any control, any force, anything what goes against what feels right to me in any way. And in children, this, and up to 7 year highly active autistic rainbow child that is gets traumatized all their life. They hear not good enough, and that's the voice of the parent telling him not to do that because they don't understand the concept. Same as if the child is playing younger than 7 years with the doggy on a field, and mother have dressed him up in a very beautiful, in his fancy dress, because they are going to holiday and they are going right now. And the child went to play with the dog, and the dog took a shit, and the child is made a mess of himself with that shit, with his on his clothes. He's all dirty little bastard. And they are already running late, and the wife had the problem with the husband already. He pissed the shit out of her, and then they have to go, and she comes outside and she see the 4-year-old all messed up with shit, all messed up with shit. And she was angry even before on the husband that pissed her off. They are running late already, and now she has to put fresh clothes on her child. and she loses this, and yeah, you will all drive me insane. Now you already, now everything is ruined. We will be late. You destroyed the trip, you everything, and and the child gets traumatized for life. Every child up to 7 years, highly active autistic children, many times more. But very much such kind of situation will traumatize a child severely for life. Severely for life. That's why entire world is fucked up and traumatized. Because first 7 years people do not know how to deal with the children. Every drama, every fighting, every shit they tell, this is nothing they don't understand. They feel everything, they receive experience, and it programs them. Everybody is insane doing this crazy shit, people fighting in front of the children, yelling at them, trying to explain to them why they should not do that, and children don't understand and cannot understand. And then we all are traumatized and we all need healing. But who can we blame? Their parents were even more fucked up and more traumatized, and they were had the strictest and more strict and cruel upbringing. And their parents, they were even worse and more traumatized by their parents. So who can you blame? No one. The snake, she doesn't exist, or does she, or he, or what it is? Is it the Kundalini snake of enlightenment? Anyway, this is not the topic. But you cannot blame no one, because everyone was traumatized by their parents more severely. Anyway, let us return to the doggy. And the little child, all what the little child received, because the little child was playing from the heart, enjoying the bliss and love with the doggy, and just put some shit on his clothes very much. All dirty, old stinky shit. But the child only enjoyed playing with the doggy and laughing and enjoying love and companionship and joy from the heart the moment. And all the life the child will blame himself when he is old, 40, 30, 20, 50, until he heals this. That he is guilty, he is not good enough, he should not do that. What he feels to do is play piano, start making videos, write poetry, post poetry, whatever it is. Not good enough, guilty, he should not do that because the mother is still screaming at him. Don't do that, you're not good enough, you're guilty. You're guilty, you destroyed the trip. Okay. So we understand what we do with children in this world today and what we should do. We should speak to the children very politely, nicely, not angry, with a beautiful tone. After 7 years, you can explain concepts. Before 7 years, let them play. If they are not harming themselves, they are not harming others, if they are not a danger to die, to harm themselves, let them be. If they are not harming the property, let them be. And speak nicely, lovely to them. And if they don't listen, you go crazy, repeat the same thing. Quietly, calm, gently, until they listen. And sometimes, more you're telling them, more they get excitement and joy to do that shit more. But if you let them scream, let them talk that shit, let them do that, they are only disturbing, not harming anything, they will lose the joy and will to disturb because no one giving them attention. Like if we give no attention to the mind, it stops. We just let it be crazy. We are not identifying with it, trying to stop it, analyzing, then the mind just stops. The more we try to stop it, more the mind is crazy. Because we are trying to stop the ego, with controlling. We have to stop and analyzing, blaming our thoughts. No. And same, because I almost died, now I am healing. I'm taking care of myself. It's a road to go. But also when I given up completely, when I said I cannot do nothing, I can only die, I can do nothing, I cannot heal myself with my ego, with control, with force, with I have to do that, cannot get rid of my ego with my ego. And when I said I cannot do nothing, God, do whatever you want with me, take me, then I risen and I'm walking and talking and playing and loving. So when you leave it alone, you can do nothing. The children also stop. We have to become children again. No more analyzing, stopping our thoughts, stopping the flow of the river of what we feel and think, judging, analyzing, controlling all the thoughts, and just let the thought flow one after another like clouds in the sky. And let us just be as we feel. No more stopping us with our mind, but be like a river. That's the mind of a child. One thought after another just flowing and without ego trying to stop it, analyze it, judge it. Children and being as we feel from the heart. Anyway, and after 7 years we can start telling conceptual to children why they should not do this, why they did. If you before were doing this alone, then you can do it with your friend now also. Then they will understand. Before you only traumatize them, nothing else. An entire world, all the children is traumatized because of that. Anyway, and that's why Shaolin monks, if you look at the training, how they train the children up to 7 years, here they are breaking the bricks on their heads. Yes, they are knocking them tied up horizontally and knocking them into the bags of the sand with the heads. They are breaking the nuts on their heads. Doing all kinds of stuff. Teaching them to hang themselves without doing any harm to them. But whatever they do, they never tell them you did this wrong, you should do like this is not that. No commanding, but always you did it the best, you did it the most wonderful, how beautiful you did it. But let us just try a little bit like that. No concepts, nothing, why like this. And always you did it the best. But when the child hits 7 years, then they start to, you should do, no, you didn't do it right. Because if you do it like this will have happened, and this. Now do it like this, and then become the discipline and more strictness. Because children need discipline and strictness also when they are going against themselves and others, violating others' energy, doing some crazy shit. Then parents should be order, strict. But when they are being loved from the heart, joy as they feel free love, giving that love, then parents should be loved like this. I'm also like this. When someone does to me what doesn't feel right to me, I'm strict, I'm order and law. But otherwise, I'm always sweet love and comedy and joy and like this. And this was all for today. I give you my word. Much love to all, to I and I, from the heart, this child, eternal child. Much love. Love you all. And let us all become children again, because ours is the heavenly kingdom on earth. And let us not destroy the children. Let us. I will not destroy the children. I have to heal the child that I am. I'm healing very beautifully. Anyway, love you all. Much love. And if there's anything in my heart, let it go to you. Much love. And I put my donation link down there. If anybody feels my work is beautiful or it helps them, or in any way in the heart they feel they want to support my work, everyone is welcome from the heart. But only loving gifts from the heart, giving of the heart, joy is accepted. No guilt, no that you have to or like this. Word that I'm free for everyone, but I'm so happy and grateful for every single donation. Thank you from the heart. Thank you. Much love. Because in giving we receive. If there's anything in my heart, I don't know what it is. Let the source God give you. Poor namaste. Much love to Anna. Let us become children again, for ours is the heavenly kingdom on earth. Poor namaste.